I'm Mike, and welcome to Retro Boost. Today's video is going to be interesting. It's a bit of a turn down a different path than the usual stuff that I do, but a familiar path. Today, I'm going to be talking about utilizing Logitech Harmony Universal Remotes, my Harmony Elite as the specific example, although this content applies to all programmable Harmony remotes, using them with the RetroTINK 5X Pro as an alternate/enhanced means of controlling the 5X Pro. So some smart home goodness injected into our retro gaming enhancement experience. This will be fun because, funny enough, subject matter on the Harmony remote was one of the first things I ever did on YouTube. When the channel first started, it was like a mixture of retro gaming reviews and smart home tutorials, two of my biggest interests. But as my interest in retro gaming grew and my interest in smart home waned, I decided to just focus on retro gaming so as not to bait and switch people that were interested in the smart home side of things. So those smart home videos are gone. I still have them. They're not lost, but they're no longer on YouTube. But we're going back, baby! A new Harmony video on the channel, aimed at the retro gaming experience. So this is going to be interesting. I'm doing this video as a special request I got from a comment a while back. Sorry it's taken me as long as it has to get this video out. I did a live stream on this subject a few weeks back, but I still wanted to do like an actual, let's do a small scale, more focused video on it too, but I'll be referencing subject matter from the stream as well. Alright, let's get going. Also, special announcement, we're doing some giveaways again on the Discord server, the official Retro Boost Discord server. 4 different digital movie codes will be given away throughout the month of September. Check out the details in the server. Yeah, cool. Thanks to everyone who watches, subscribes, and is a member of that server especially. Content also goes early access there whilst I'm in the throes of editing, so it's a chance to watch things before they go live. Alright, moving on, let's talk a little bit about what Harmony is before we get into the main subject matter. So what is Harmony? Harmony was a brand of universal remotes sold by Logitech. They were discontinued a few years ago. The model Harmony remote that I have here that will be shown off in this video is the Harmony Elite. It is a remote that comes with a Wi-Fi hub that allows it to control like every kind of device under the sun. This thing can use IR for like line of sight command, it can use Bluetooth, it can use IP control over the internet. It's very sophisticated. You do not need this particular remote and setup for what I'll be showing off in this video regarding RetroTINK though. There were a ton of different Harmony models. More basic ones that were point and shoot, and more advanced ones like this that were catered to like a more sophisticated or larger setup. Not required though for the RetroTINK thing we'll be doing today. But Harmony remotes, they were very cool, and it's a bummer that they were discontinued because there isn't like a hole that was filled by that on the market. Now it just seems like you gotta go to like really complicated, more advanced remotes to get the same kind of functionality that Harmony gives you. And what exactly is that? Because, you know, it's a universal remote, right? But like, what else could it do? And how is that gonna play into this whole RetroTINK equation? Well, like any universal remote, you program the devices you want to control, but where Harmony starts to get really cool is how easily it can bring all those devices together. It's called an activity. An activity for Harmony is basically a macro. So, looking at the entertainment side of things, putting aside gaming for the moment, let's say I had a TV, a sound system, and a Blu-ray player, and I want to be able to launch all of that at the same time, have it all work together. Well, with the Harmony activity, you can do exactly that. Everything boots up, everything tunes to the proper input, and the remote's physical buttons control what they logically should. It automatically knows that the volume control should control your sound system, that the menu navigation would control the Blu-ray player, not the TV. It's smart like that. It's really cool, but also just simple to program. It's one of those things that's like, Easy to use, but also easy to master, because Harmony also allows for a high degree of customization. And that customization is exactly what we're going to be leaning on for the topic today. So how do we take all of that and make it worthwhile for RetroTINK? What can it even do for RetroTINK? Well, let's take a quick look at the 5X Pro and its remotes to answer that question. Enter the 5X Pro. I've talked about this like a million times on my channel. If you don't know what it is, I would recommend checking out my other videos on the channel pertaining to the 5X Pro. It's a really cool retro game video scaling device aimed at making retro game consoles of all make and model. Since it's the 5X Pro, it's got the most support, make them look better on modern day flat screen TVs. And since it is highly customizable, it comes with a remote and has its own little interface to mess around with. A couple years into its lifespan, so roughly 1 year ago-ish from today, there was a new remote released, the premium remote, which I did a first impressions kind of video on. This remote's awesome. I use it with the 5X Pro regularly now. To do what I'm going to be doing with Harmony, and if you want to do it with Harmony yourself, you do need to get this remote. Why? Well, Harmony, the way it's programmed, some stuff will be in the Harmony's database and it just grabs onto it, but more obscure devices that like Logitech wouldn't know exist, to put it in like the most basic way possible, they don't know the 5X Pro exists. Why would they? It's a niche product for a niche community, right? We are not 40 million members strong in our group here, right? So they're not going to know about it. So they prepared for that, though. You can teach Harmony remotes commands for things that they don't already know. So we're going to need to use this remote to bring the most out of Harmony and using it with the RetroTINK device. So bear that in mind. You can't just buy a Harmony device and go. You can, but you'll see what I mean. So important note, what I'm going to be doing is basically teaching my Harmony remote all the commands from this remote, and then going from there with the activities to create some cool situations. So let's get into the programming aspect of this and how all of that works. Let's get Harmony prepped to control the 5X Pro. Programming a Harmony remote is actually pretty simple. There's a desktop app. That's what I recommend you to use and what I'll be showing here. There is a mobile app, but the mobile app is better for running it than it is programming it. Plus, the mobile app only works if you have a network model Harmony remote. If you don't, the PC app is what you're going to use. So, using the app, the first step is to add the 5X Pro. We do that by typing in the manufacturer name and the model number. And at first, I really wasn't sure this is going to work. If it didn't, no big deal. You could just custom program the commands. But it looked like it actually worked. The way that I typed it in, I got it to come up, and it populated all of like the basic commands that the stock remote comes with, which is pretty interesting. What it doesn't have, though, obviously, are all the added IR commands that were part of the big firmware update to accommodate the premium remote. So we're going to have to add those. So now that we've added the 5X Pro to our list of devices, let's go ahead and add the missing commands that we'll need for these activities to really be fully usable. It's a pretty simple process. You'll go in and add a missing command, and then one by one we'll teach the remote the IR commands for whatever functions we want to teach it. In my case here, I'm teaching it the profile buttons 1 through 10, plus a handful of other ones like menu, return, stuff like that. Just make sure it's all in there. Whatever you want to add, though, add it. It's no big deal. You can add whatever you want. You can add the entirety of the premium remote's functions if you wanted to. It's all about how much time you're willing to sink into it. So once all of our commands have been added to the remote, we can now create the activity. This is the core thing. So what I wanted to do, my vision here, was to create activities for each profile, so that I could launch and turn on my 5X Pro and have it ready for whatever particular console I want to play, which would be just kind of cool and convenient. So I'm going to create an activity for the first profile, which in my case would be the, I believe it's the NES. Get that created. You can choose a thumbnail for your activities, by the way, which is pretty sweet. That way when they're on the app, they look like all differentiated. So I got a bunch of thumbnails prepared for all the different game consoles. Choose your thumbnail. Then you'll confirm what your device settings are. In my case here, it's very simple because I'm not actually like getting my devices besides what I'm using for capture ready. But in your situation, you may have a TV, a soundbar, a sound system. Who knows? You'll have to get all that ready. You'll tell it what input everything needs to be on. My only device in that regard for this is my HDMI switch that manages all my devices like my RetroTINKs. So I make sure that it's on the right input. And then we're done. The activity gets created. The activity as is it's going to turn on all this stuff to the appropriate input. But what about the 5X Pro? Is the profile an input? No, it's not. We're going to have to custom add that. So once the activity is created, we're going to add another command. We're going to first add a delay. The purpose of the delay is to make sure that everything is like on and ready and able to respond to further commands. Then, after the delay, we'll add a custom command for the profile in question. So, profile number 1, boom, got it in there. And then, donezo. Now I have an activity created that boots up the 5X Pro plus my HDMI switch, puts the switch on the proper input for using it for the 5X Pro. And then once it's all booted up, it tells the Harmony system, tells the 5X Pro to switch to that particular profile, whichever one of these 10 that I've created. So that's cool, very convenient. But wait, there's more. The cool thing about Harmony is how customizable it is. After getting your activity created, you can go in and further optimize it. You can customize what commands and functions appear on the touchscreen portion of the remote, and then what commands and functions work the buttons of the remote. That's what you want to do if you really want to replace the premium remote with a Harmony. You're gonna want to take the time to make sure that every single one of these commands is in that Harmony remote and placed and programmed in a way that makes the most sense for you utilizing it. But now that all of our activities are made, our delays are input, and our profile commands have been added to the end of each activity, I've got my 10 profiles, so let's go ahead and take them for a spin. Alright, let's get a taste for the retro side of things. We got the profiles all programmed for activities. Let's do one with Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo is ready to go and currently on. The Extron switches are all set for that to be what's carried through. The Extron switches here are not tied into my Harmony system. I don't currently have the means to do that. I am interested in trying it out though and seeing if it's possible. It probably is. But for now, I need to go through and press the buttons manually, which I honestly like doing. It's fun. So the Harmony activity will boot up the 5X Pro. It'll then put the 5X Pro on the Super Nintendo's profile that I have custom programmed. And if it wasn't already set, it would also change my HDMI switch there to the proper input for the 5X Pro. There's a lot of HDMI devices in that system there, the 5X Pro, the 2X Pro, the 2X Pro M, the CARBY, so I am using all of them, so those get switched as well. That activity is not currently tied directly into my AV system here. Most of the time that I play games and get capture is on my PC via a preview monitor, so I don't want unnecessary devices turning on, but I have it all tethered in and it's currently set up. So we'll know it's working if we get picture and sound right there. Let's launch it here with the app, Super Nintendo. It'll warn us that IR is a very important part of this, and the remote's going to be sending commands, these custom commands we program. So the remote goes in, it's on, we got a picture, and boom, there's the profile. Picture got wider. But did it really? Well, we can check, because we got all of our commands loaded into our Harmony remote. Come on, focus, focus. Got load profile right there. So we'll load profile, and we can see that Super Nintendo is the active one. So, success! Harmony booted up and made ready the 5X Pro. if I wasn't running a YouTube channel and I wanted it to control like everything, I totally could and have all of the stuff boot up. I did do that for one profile though. So let's check out the one profile where everything here is going to talk with itself. Alright, VHS. This one is got the most stuff happening. So the VHS player will turn on, the 5X Pro is going to turn on, 5X Pro will then flip to its VHS profile. We'll get picture on the TV, we'll get audio through the sound system. So a lot of moving parts here. Let's give it a whirl. We'll turn it on. Oh yeah, and we're set. So this turns to the S-video input, which is how I know that it's on the VHS profile. I forget if there's actually a tape loader in there or not, though. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Still Zorro from our live stream. So, yeah, boom, there we go. So, the VHS good to go, and like before, the navigational buttons are all for the VHS player, so I can play or pause right from here. Volume controls the sound system. You can customize what appears on this menu here as far as different functions. So it's all good stuff. So Harmony can do some cool things with devices you may not be expecting it to be able to do. Hope that these little demos have kind of shown you that. And sorry for the weird camera work here. It's been a while since I've done something like this. This is probably the best way to film it. Alright, so let's get it all wrapped up. Almost forgot to show off the coolest / most unnecessary part of this whole thing, which is the voice assistant side of things. You can link Harmony to voice assistants like Amazon Alexa, for example. I use the voice commands all the time for my digital stuff, mainly when I'm like coming home from work and I know that I want to just like watch some TV or something. Alexa, turn on Roku. Everything will boot up here and be ready to stream Roku. I do that probably every day. So it's convenient. You know, you can walk through the room, turn on something, go get changed, take a shower, get dinner, whatever, come back in the room, and now everything is all kind of set to go for you. Just the same, you can obviously turn it all off. Alexa, turn off Roku. Looks like Xbox is still on too. Alexa, turn off Xbox. Being stubborn. But we can also use it to do our retro activities. So one thing I won't do is change the inputs on this guy. I gotta do that manually. I haven't programmed it to do the advanced side of things for the sound system because I tend to treat them as two separate universes. Let me go ahead and get that prepped though. While on PC in. Good. Okay, so now she's ready. The reason I do that is because I don't usually like play or watch everything, like I said, from where I'm sitting right now. So I don't want to program that part of it to have unnecessary things turn on that I'm not going to use in that moment. Now that it's all ready though, we can show off what she can do with it. So you got to create routines in the Alexa app. Routines are similar to activities for Harmony. So I got my profiles, which match up to the profiles here. Alexa, profile 10. And there we go. We can check to be sure. Profile VHS has been enabled. So there we go. So that's using the voice assistant, so I could use that for any of the profiles, but I would have to make sure in my situation that the Extron switch has been prepped in advance, which means that voice control for the retro stuff specifically is more for fun than for practicality. But it's definitely cool for the regular devices, like the digital stuff. Blu-ray players, Roku devices, streaming devices, etc. It's very cool for. So, all right, now we can move on to our conclusion. All right, so what did we all learn today? Pretty nifty. Definitely, you know, in that cool category, not required category. It's all style, basically, right? So it's definitely a nifty, fun thing to be able to kind of turn on so many different things at once and then have it all be ready to go. I think it's definitely convenient and super cool to kind of watch all the gears turn, especially with the VHS part of it. The VHS profile is kind of the only one of my RetroTINK situations that involves more than just the RetroTINK itself being turned on. I mean, that's a very complicated one. That's the TV, the sound system, the VHS player itself, the 5X Pro, the HDMI switch, all that stuff is getting commands from Harmony and being told what to do, and then the icing on the cake is the 5X Pro swaps over to the VHS profile, and thus is good to go for VHS. And using voice commands, the whole thing is hands-free, maximum lazy level achieved. So part of it's definitely very goofy and unnecessary. On the other hand, pretty convenient if I knew that I was going to be doing like Super Nintendo or something, and I can just yell out to run the profile, you know, with voice control. Pretty sweet. As far as like using the remote as a full-on replacement, if you took the time to like translate and teach every command into Harmony, you can totally use Harmony as an alternative. Me personally, I really love the premium RetroTINK remote. It's still kind of what I use all the time, so what I'm basically doing now is voice commands over Alexa or my iPad sometimes to launch the activity in question, and then if I have to change something or whatever, I'm using the premium remote to control the 5X Pro from there. But I wanted to kind of show what's possible out there. So, you know, you got to use your imagination here. There's a lot you can do with Harmony regarding like how you decide to customize it, that you may be able to take it to a place that I didn't take it to today. It's a lot. There's a lot you can do with it. It's a very cool system. It's a bummer, like a real bummer, that they don't get sold anymore retail. Like, I was really bummed out when I heard they were getting discontinued. That was also part of my motivation for moving away from smart home, because like the coolest thing that I talked about was dead, and I felt bad that people were gonna come in to watch videos for stuff that's no longer, you know, like available or sold or whatever. Like, just can't get anymore, and their prices were so expensive too. Their secondhand prices have probably come down since, now that like the waiting periods like kind of passed by. So again, like, you don't have to have the Harmony Elite that I've shown in this video. Any model Harmony can do like the basics you saw here as far as just shooting commands to everything. The ones that have screens just have more customization potential, basically. And then the ones that have the Harmony hubs, they can control things on a more advanced level using, you know, in addition to IR, they use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi / networking control. So they're more sophisticated. Plus they have IR blasters that can run out of them. So a lot that they can do. Again, hope that this was like helpful to kind of see it going. If you want to see more of it kind of happening live as I tinker with it, the replay of that live stream is available. You can check me out as I kind of did all of what I described there in real time, and then got it all to work for a couple different consoles at the end with voice control too. It was fun. It's good fun. Thanks so much for watching. As I mentioned in the beginning, we're doing some giveaways on the Discord server throughout September 2024. One movie code being given away per week. The details are in the server's announcement section. Hope to see you there. I will also see you on the next one. Thanks so much for joining me. See ya.